Well, here we are on a Friday night. Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the universe, children of God, I bring forth to you a good time. So, a couple Fridays ago, I decided that what we'll do on Friday night is talk about Friday night etiquette. So, here in the Q Show, we're all about class, about dignity, about carrying ourselves like we have home training. Last week, I talked about how to handle moving through the crowd. But tonight, I want to handle something else that's at the root of many of the problems in our nightlife. And that problem is having too much to drink. With that said, tonight we have bourbon. Back to the bourbon, which is most of the time what I do, especially when I'm having a stick. Those of you not in the cigar aficionado community, in the tobacco appreciation room, good cigar. And maybe next show I'll actually bring out one of my favorite sticks. And we'll talk about that a little bit. There are plenty of shows out there about cigars and types and how to do it and etiquette. So I won't get too deep into that. I'll leave that domain to the experts in that category, just letting you know that normally, well, not normally, because I don't do cigars as much as I used to. But again, that's a different conversation for a different show. Tonight we're talking about alcohol. Again, I have my bourbon, and though I'm going to stay away from mentioning brands because I'm not getting any advertising fees for this, but tonight is Jack Daniel's Rye. So Jack Daniels owe me a little bit of money. Watch how much you consume, people. When I went to the club, the bar, whether alone or with the troops, our consumption was always muted and within range. Now, what I mean by within range is we never consumed more than our physicalities, our physiologies were able to process. I've been an enjoyer of spirits and adult beverages for all of my adult life. I can count on one hand the times that I've had more than I could so-called handle, and I never staggered out of a club drunk, tipsy, or any of those things. So what were my drinks? And I think last week I mentioned that my favorites were, depending on my mood, if I was a bit grungier feeling, I'd have a Heineken or a Guinness Stout. If I was feeling lively, a slow gin fizz. I haven't ordered that in probably 20 years. Not sure if that is even made anymore. Well, of course, I'm sure somebody somewhere is making that drink. But now maybe I should order one the next time I go out and see if the barkeep can produce it and what it tastes like. Then there was the White Russian. That was occasionally. I didn't do that often. But most of the time when I was in a club, it was Harvey's Bristol Cream, or Harvey's Bristol Cream. Now, I said it that way, and that was the drink for the reason being that by a certain point, I became a assistant promoter to a club in Manhattan on 23rd Street, 7th Avenue. Was it 7th? Yeah, 7th Avenue, called Savage. I had been a patron. I made friends there, and I was brought in to help promote the club. I was a good spokesman for it. So I was an assistant promoter to DJ Don Welch. We always did after work Thursdays. Now, sometimes I'd be there Friday too, just for the fun of it, but after work Thursday was my night. Then I made it to full promoter. But again, it was for Thursday nights after work and into the evening, because DJ Don Welch, his fortunes had grown. He was producing a house artist and producing and managing a house artist, singer named Barbara Tucker. And if you're a house head, you know her music well. She's the one that made Deep, Deep Inside, Deep, Deep Inside. Oh, and what's the other one? Get Lifted. I get lifted and oh, I get lifted and ooh, I get lifted and oh. So I have a lot of club experience, promotional experience, good and bad. It's a tough game. It requires unceasing outgoingness that I did not possess. To quote one of my relatives, I'm not going to give my mother's maiden name away, but to quote one of my relatives from my maternal maternal side of the family, the people with this particular name, even though I don't carry the name, I carry some of their traits. They like people, but they like people when they like people. And when they've had enough of people, then they don't want people anymore until the next time. So it got a little old after a while. Not to mention, well, when you get engaged, the club's not as attractive anymore. I mean, I liked it for the fun aspect, but the music was changing. The character of the scene was changing, and that'll be another show as well. And then I was on the way to getting married, so that was time for me to exit. But going back to the alcohol, the spirits. Right. Almost lost track. You caught me, right? Savage, which eventually changed its name to Club Elite, and that's about when I became the main promoter for Thursday nights, was what we would call an upscale or sophisticated nightclub. It's mid to lower Manhattan. The clientele was mostly the corporate crowd, or even if non-corporate, they may have been blue collar, but they were sophisticated blue collars. So these were the guys who would leave their job and put on a suit, put on a shirt and tie, make themselves look like gentlemen, carry themselves with dignity and class, which is what we all want to be about, right? We don't know how this ghetto thing took over the scene, but we want to bring it back to class and dignity and being good men, being gentlemen, not being pushovers, not being unfun, but doing it right and doing the drinks right. Again, I never stumbled out of a club, got a DUI driving home. I never got into fights because I had too much to drink and became belligerent. And neither did my team. No one in my crew. No one in the club for that matter. See, as I mentioned in my other Friday night show, We never saw, the club didn't even have a magnetometer. That came a little bit later, admittedly. Let's see. I was done with the club by 96. So I'll say the magnetometer came at about 94. Yeah, about 1994. But prior to that, you didn't need one. No one was coming in there with instruments of harm. The ladies would come in and peel off their fur coats or what other fine outerwear they had on, or if it was a bit warmer, they'd have on a very light poncho type deal, maybe a silk. I might not be using the right word for that. I like style, but I still don't have my fashion terminology completely versed. But nonetheless, they'd have on something to conceal some of the outfit, and then would come in and go to the coat check, use the coat check. Back then, every club had a coat check. Recently, I went to a gathering at a establishment somewhere in Queens, and there was no coat check. So there are these couches ringing the area, the dance area, and tables, and it's just coats, and like, no, that's not class. You check your coat. Anyhow, back to the spirits. But back then, not only did I not stumble out of a club, it was rare you saw someone knock out drunk. In all of those nights of being a assistant promoter and then a main promoter, I don't know, I might have seen two or three, and I'm talking, I did this for years, and maybe two or three times I saw someone have to be helped out because they were inebriated beyond self control. And that spoils the night because you don't want to be carried out the spot. You want to be in the spot having a good time. So I guess this week's etiquette, again, is to enjoy your drink, but pace yourself. Now, a little trick I learned, and this comes from the science of how your physiology processes spirits, wine, beer, is that it dries you out. You get dehydrated, which means you need to hydrate. So if you're going to be out on the town and you're going to do some ball hopping, or you're going to run in the club and you're going to have some drinks, and maybe what's the new thing now? Everyone goes up into the VIP in the back there and bottle service and this sort of thing. You need to consume your water. It's that simple. So my formula is every time I have a drink, I have a tall, I didn't pour my tall glass of water. I'm violating my own rule, but I'm at home. Every time I would have a drink, I would have a tall glass of water to keep myself hydrated. And you don't suck that drink down. You sip on it gently because we're all having a good time. We're here talking. It's the fellas. You're having a conversation about the music, the DJ. You might talk a little bit about the game, what's been going on during the week, the money situation, but that usually goes pretty quick, and then you dive in to the ladies around you. That one over there, ooh, that whole crew is together. Well, maybe not her, but overall, that was the focus. Now, I'm not a woman, but I would imagine that the ladies' conversation may have been similar to that. You're there with your girlfriends and you haven't seen this one in a while, and what's going on with her. And then eventually, I think that guy over there is looking at us. Oh, he sent a drink. Maybe I should talk about that also. But that's what you want to do. You don't want to be in the lobby of the club holding your head, nausea, embarrassing yourself. Now someone has to find your people and get you home or get you out the building. You don't want to have too much and become belligerent, because some of you are belligerent when you drink. I've always felt that the alcohol magnifies what you really are. One of my favorite old movies, was it Audie Murphy? I believe it was Audie Murphy. And what's the name of that movie? To Hell and Back. To Hell and Back. Audie Murphy plays himself. Anyhow, he's a soldier in Italy, and there's a scene where they stop in a bar, and there's one of his not a bar, a villa with a, what would you call that? What would you call that in Italy? Not a bar. It would be no, because it wasn't a lounge. It was a bistro. There we go. A bistro that happened to have wine. And this cohort of his brother soldier, is behaving a bit out of hand. So one of the other soldiers tells him he's had too much to drink. And this guy shoos him off. And Audie Murphy says, "Hey, pal, if one man tells you you're drunk, you laugh in his face. If a dozen men tell you you're drunk, it's time to sit down." And I think that's an appropriate rule. Sip slowly. Intersperse your drinks with water. If you've never had more than 3 drinks in the night, out in public at a bar or nightclub is not the place to experiment with 4. Stop at 3. You have a lot more fun that way. And don't, again, some of you, the drink reflects your moods. I've seen people have a few drinks and they get real friendly and sexy. Some people have a few drinks, they want to fight everyone. They want to fight the chair at the end of the bar. The hell is wrong with you? Some people, they have some drinks and they want to dance the whole night long. That was kind of the category I was in. Yeah, that was my category. I'd have a drink, laugh with the fellas, get on the dance floor, dance some, go have another drink, get on that dance floor again, and I'd go, you might say it was a workout. I'd be sweating by the time I got done. And I wasn't done for the night, I was just done for the moment. Be mindful of your alcohol consumption. Not doing so creates an uncomfortable environment for people around you. Pace yourself, stay hydrated. And then if you're like me and you're going to dance for 30 minutes to an hour straight, when you come off that dance floor, get water, order a drink, because what you're not going to do, again, we have class, right? Etiquette. We're not going to go to the bar and just ask for water. This is a business, and selling those drinks is how they stay afloat, so that they are there again for you next week. So you order a drink and a water, and the barkeep will be more likely to top you off with the water if you're ordering a drink simultaneously. So in my case, I'll have another bourbon. And by the way, can I get a tall glass of water? And then you take out your money and you tip appropriately. And if you're unsure, then go a little bit past that to make sure. Now, this may tell my age or how far back I'm going, but when I was clubbing, I think a Guinness will cost you $5. Following the 10% rule, but going past it, I'd always put down $2. Now, if I ordered a couple of drinks at the same time, then I go up to 3 or 4. Nowadays, let's see, that event I was at back in February, this fool charged me $20 for a plastic glass of wine that big. Now, I didn't call him a fool. And maybe I'm throwing out another piece of etiquette that we'll get into in another show. I didn't even react because that's not class. When they tell you what the price of something, they'll go, what? It costs that much? No, that's the price. Take the hit. If he tells you that a shot glass of white wine is $20, that's the price. If you don't like that price, then don't go back. And I didn't. I didn't go back. So I got white wine for my wife. I forget what I got for myself. I think I had a white wine also. Yes, because when I'm with Mrs. Queen, I try to have the same thing that she's having so that we can enjoy the experience together. But he told me $20 for the white wine, so that was $40 for plastic cups of white wine. It wasn't even in a proper glass. It wasn't in a flute, in a plastic cup, like it was a poorly mixed cocktail. So I put the money on the bar, $50. Thank you, sir. Oh, by the way, can I have a couple waters? And they gave me Poland Spring. That was the last time that bar saw me. Anyhow, watch your consumption, carry yourself with dignity. Don't be belligerent. If you want to dance, dance. If you want to be sexy, sexy. If you want to laugh, laugh. Well, don't laugh too much because then everyone's looking like, oh man, he's toe up. No, you don't want that. Even worse for a female. A woman who's a little tipsy is nice. A woman who's slurring and messed up is, and it also leads to bad decision making. You don't want to make a bad decision as a woman. No one wants to make a bad decision. Who knows where the evening goes? Fellas, aren't you concerned about who you wake up next to? Same thing for ladies. Don't fall for the drinks and the small talk. Have a substantive conversation. Well, that's another show. We're talking about the drinks and booze. And once you've had enough, be strong in that. No more. Just drink water or order sodas. Have ginger ale, club soda, whatever the case may be. But still tip like you ordered a drink that may have been pricier. That bartender is serving you in a high-end establishment. And if you want it to remain high-end, and if you want it to be there week after week reliably, then take care of him and take care of the people and take care of the staff. So with that said, I've gone on about the alcohol, and there are some other topics that are related, but I'll leave for another show, another night. As you can tell, I'm about to get out there and do something. As my hero, St. Kevin, used to say, life happens out there. So let's get out there, get after it, have a good time, be responsible so that we can be back and do it again the following week. So I'm going to shout out myself a bit here. I always remind you about my books, my self-published autobiography, I Was Never Quite Black Enough, and my nonfiction book, The GEU, the Gang Extermination Unit. Enjoy yourself with that. I hope you like the intro from David Flores. Normally, I open the show a little differently, but I may make that, if not every show intro, it would definitely be an intro a lot more frequently. See, I don't have my water here and I'm paying for it. But with that said, second time I use that expression. I got to work on that. Where's my man, Ray Rav? Always plays his song because this one really meant something to me. Give me permission. So I'm going to shout out every chance I get. Available on iTunes, people. I'm so broke. Friday. I'm so broke, but I get paid on Friday. I don't know if today is my day. Damn, right now I'm broke as a joke. About to sell my PlayStation and my joystick broke. Yeah, I'm getting paid minimum wage Friday. But how this supposed to help if I can't make it to Thursday? And by Sunday, most of my check gone. The phone bill, cable bill, and lights finna go off. Now I'm finna go off. Can't spend on myself. I'm living for the government, I can't live for myself. And it ain't helping my wealth, it's messing up my mental health. Like what am I supposed to do for myself? Getting a low green like an elf. I keep a gold wrap on me, cause if I had a seat, I know it'd be felt. And I'm tired of riding taxis, tired of riding the bus, tired of hopping turnstiles, I'm tired of giving the foot. I'm tired of missing my luck, supervisor gon' get smacked up, cause she always try to act up. Now, maybe it's best if we be nice, cause I can promise it won't be a clean fight. Just give me the green light, I'm the new fly kid. Need that AMG truck to let my crew hop in. Pull out my EBT card, I don't care who watching. About to be a gigolo to get some new fly kicks. Can't even afford a grip, I got a 2x10. To staircase my Marriott when I screw fly chicks. Took my neighbor's Wi-Fi, cause I'm so broke. Took the Netflix too. I wanna keep going, but my internet going off in a minute. I can't even shit a rest with you. Nah, I'm so broke, but I get paid on Friday. I don't know if today is my day. I'm so broke, but I get paid on Friday. I don't know.